Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It is Wednesday morning. As always, a coffee kind of morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to do a contest today, contest entry, for my wonderful friend, Mr. Larry Graves, a Canadian stud muffin. Been a great friend of mine, been a great supporter of my channel ever since I started, pretty much. I've known Larry for quite a while. We've done a lot of live chats together, although we've never met physically. I think he sees me and turns the other way because I've never seen him in any record stores. But again, just about 20 minutes west of here he lives. But a super, super wonderful guy. Been in the BC forever, been on YouTube forever, and got a super large following. And this is an awesome idea that he's got for his contest, so I definitely want to support him, as he's been supportive of me as well, as I said. Super entertaining, comical. Even though he says he's a shy guy, he's very entertaining, and he loves that stuff. He was also an actor. He showed videos of him in a play. He does skits on his channel. He does everything. He's just remarkable. Kind of definitely an influence, and he was influential in helping me decide to start a channel as well. I've been watching him for quite a while, even before I started my channel, and I figured, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. I may not be as good as he is, but I'll definitely give it my best shot. So Larry, again, got a contest going on. He wants us to show 10 to 12 great album covers and worst album covers from a band. So 10 to 12 bands and their favorite album covers, or their great album covers and their worst album covers. Doesn't mean that the album is crappy. It just means that the album cover wasn't the best decision of the band or the artist. Also, the contest goes until September 1st, so you got a ton of time to enter this contest. It's for a $50 Amazon gift card and Canadian funds. And please let Larry know that you've made the video. Please subscribe to his channel and like and subscribe, and leave wonderful, wonderful comments to Larry, please. I'm going to put a link below to his channel, so you can go over to his channel if you're not already subscribed, because he's got a ton of subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, please please subscribe, and again, leave wonderful comments. So I apologize. I said I was going to, in the once I reached 1,000, I was going to shorten my videos. I don't think this one's going to be a short video, so please bear with me. But it's a special event and a special person that I'm entering this contest for. So I'm going to right off the bat start with my favorite band, one of my favorite bands, I should say. I've got so many favorites. This is Wishbone Ash. I love this cover. This is Twin Barrels Burning. This amazing cover of a great British hard rock band. Twin lead guitars, power, hard rock, blues, progressive rock. Twin Barrels Burning would 1982 release their 12th studio album, their highest charting album as well. It would be the only album to feature Uriah Heep's bassist Trevor Bolder on this one, but it's just a great blistering, hard and heavy album. This is the US cover. There's a different UK cover, but I love this cover. Muscle Car. It's great, great, great. And then you go to one of their worst. This is Just Testing. I'm not sure what's going on here. The album's great. I love this album. It's also a promotional copy. But you got, I don't know if this is a factory, if this is a futuristic thing. You got, is that smoke or I guess it's smoke or mist on this V-shaped guitar with the band looking through this window. Is that a testing window, I guess? Maybe a testing factory. Not sure what's going on with this one. It is a 1980 release, 10th studio album, and also the last to feature the original lead vocalist Martin Turner on this one. But yeah, I just don't know what's going on here with this. Not the greatest choice in album covers, for sure. That's number one. Speaking of Uriah Heep, one of my favorite album covers of these guys is Abominag. Look at that cover, it's just gorgeous. Awesome stuff. Abominag would be 1982 release, their 14th studio album. Earlier forms of hard rock and heavy metal. It's one of their most commercially successful albums as well. They're the pioneers of hard rock and heavy metal, along with Deep Purple and all the great bands back then, formed way back in 1969. Mick Box is still the only original member of the band. But you got a couple of great tracks on here, On the Rebound, and That's the Way It Is. And one of the worst album covers of these guys, and I've got pretty much, not all their studio albums, but pretty much a good chunk of them. This is Wonder World. And you got the band standing on these, I guess they're podiums in weird different poses. Are they supposed to be wax figures of the band or what? But yeah, it just really doesn't have anything to do with the title of the band or of the album. But yeah, just weird poses. It's still a great album. Still a great album for sure. But it's the you got Suicidal Man, So Tired, Something or Nothing is some great tracks off of this one. 1974 release for that one as well, but just a weird album cover. So that's number 2. Number 3, I'm going to go to CDs at this time. From this great little box set, Steve Hackett. 5 classic albums off of this one. These are great deals for these ones. And I'm going to go with Please Don't Touch as one of my favorite album covers from Steve Hackett. An amazing guitarist, was with Genesis from 1971 to 1977, but I love his solo work as well. 1978 released the second studio album by Mr. Hackett. Also the first since leaving Genesis, as he put his first album out while he was still part of Genesis. It's got progressive rock, art rock on this. Richie Havens does some vocals. Steve Walsh from Kansas does vocals. Randy Crawford, great female singer, does some vocals as well. And great album. And one of the worst. This is Defector. Yikes. Kind of a ugly looking picture on there. Not the nicest picture. 4th studio album. Even though the cover isn't the best, it's the highest charting album. Great sounding album as well. It's so good. But yeah, Defector. Not very nice. But again, great values in these box sets for sure. You get 5 studio albums for, I think, around 25, 26 bucks. I haven't priced one in a while, so just don't quote me on that one. So that's number 3. Number 4, again, going to CDs. I could have shown their most famous album, but I think if someone's going to show Jethro Tull, they're going to show that one. So I'm going to go with, again, another great little box set. And I'm going to show The Broadsword and the Beast. I love the illustrations on that one. Yeah, it's just a cool album. But also the very synth-sounding album with folk influences in that synth sound. Another direction for the band. They've gone in so many directions. And Ian Anderson thought it was one of his best albums, or one of their favorite albums by Jethro Tull. But that's one of my favorites. But then I'm going to go with their latest album as one of my worst favorites. Still a great album. It's a fantastic album, but The Zealot Game. Just too close. Very dark, like menacing almost, from The Zealot Game. But a fantastic album. Really an Ian Anderson project, even though he named him Jethro Tull. As far as the project goes, no Martin Barr on this one. Martin Barr wasn't asked to come back to, and that was the first since their second album, way back, that he wasn't included in Jethro Tull. I think he's doing well on his own right now. But again, they're made during COVID and lockdown, so they had to do all their parts separately, and took them quite a while to produce the album. Still one of my favorites of 2022, but not my most favorite album cover, for sure, by Jethro Tull. I love you, Ian, but not up close like that. Number 5, again, sticking with the CDs. I love the earlier version of this band. The later version got very commercial. You hear the songs 10,000 times a day, but I prefer their earlier stuff. And I'm going to go again with another little box set from Fleetwood Mac. And this is Kiln House. I love the illustrations on this. Actually, Christine McVie did the drawings on this one, the amazing vocalist and keyboardist, who was not a member of the band at the time. She was still a kind of a session player, a backup singer. 1970 released their 4th studio album, blues rock and folk rock. Peter Green had left, so you still have Jeremy Spencer in there, great guitarist and slide guitarist. Danny Kerwin on guitars and vocals, John McVie on bass, who would eventually become Christine McVie's husband, and Mick Fleetwood on drums, of course. The worst, again from this box set, their first 3 albums, I got to go with this one. What is this one even called? Mr. Wonderful. Yikes. That's just, what's he called? He's holding a doll too in the bottom corner. But Mr. Wonderful. Their 2nd studio album, 1968 release. I love the music in here though. It's all blues. You got Peter Green, Jeremy Spencer, John McVie, and Mick Fleetwood. Amazing blues band, but Mick, put a shirt on. Put a shirt on, Mick. But I love early Fleetwood. Again, later on, even though they're amazing, super successful band, they just got way too commercial. And of course, the rest is history. So number 6, I'm going to go back to vinyl. And the amazing band from Switzerland, heavy metal band, very much AC/DC influenced. They love AC/DC. This is Crocus, and this is their live album, Alive and Screamin'. I just love that cover. So cool. Crocus is a great band, very AC/DC sounding, but just a little heavier. Alive and Screaming, 1986 release, their first live album from their North American tour, both obviously US and Canada. They do a blistering version of Stayed Awake All Night by Bachman Turner Overdrive, who Bachman's heaviest version of on any album, but they do a blistering version of that track. And their worst, and I don't understand what this one is supposed to be. This is one vice at a time, and I'm not sure if that's a building or if that's Jenga or what is going on in there. But what does this have to do with vices? You know, I just don't understand. But I love the album. I love the album. 1982 released their 6th studio album. Again, very AC/DC sounding, as they were highly influenced by the band after they saw them. They do a great cover of American Woman by the Guess Who, and also Bruce Dickinson, who just started with Iron Maiden, does some backing vocals on this one, on the song I'm on the Run. So a great album, great band as well, but I don't understand that album cover. You got the British amazing harmonizing rock and pop band, the Hollies, formed way back in 1962. I love the Hollies. This is one of their best as far as I'm concerned. This is Distant Light. I love the illustrations in that. Their album covers are so good looking and nice, calming. Their 11th studio album, 1971 release. The last with Alan Clark, he would leave to do a some solo work. He would eventually come back, but it's got the huge hit Long Cool Woman on this one, also Long Dark Road. on this one as well. And their worst, as far as I'm concerned. And again, I'm not sure what this is trying to illustrate, but this is a crazy steal. You got the members of the band, and then you've got this self-service station here. Are they waiting to enter? Or are they what are they doing here? I'm not sure. Crazy Steal, the 18th album. They didn't have their best cover, and this one also didn't do very well on the charts. Emmylou Harris, they do a cover of Emmylou Harris's song "Boulder to Birmingham." Hello to Romance, Amnesty, and Writing on the Wall. But still a decent album. But what's going on with this cover? Are they going in to do some self? I don't even want to think about that. So anyway, that's my worst album cover by the Hollies. At number 7. At number 8, Randall Nelson showed this one yesterday, but I'm still going to show it. From the amazing band Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This is Brain Salad Surgery. Of course, you got the classic, one of their most commercially successful albums from a huge supergroup, of course. Early pioneers of progressive rock, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, and Carl Palmer. 1973 classic rock album, their 4th album, and their most commercially successful album. And then you got the cheesy, hairy-chested Love Beach. Yeah, just go from this classic album of Brain Salad and all the other great album covers that they had to this one here. And cheese at its best. Their 7th album. They would split up after the release of this one, and maybe they're going off to find their own beach chairs. I don't know what they were doing, but not a very good one. So that's number 8. From another great British hard rock band, and again becoming one of my favorites. I've got a great box set of these guys, but the album covers do better justice. Of course, formed in 1968. Originally had Michael Schenker in there, Phil Moog, an amazing artist. This is one of their best. This is Misdemeanor. I love this album cover. Just something innocent about it, but she's holding a Luger or whatever kind of gun that is as well. But just a cool looking cover. Their 12th studio album, kind of a reformed version of UFO after they had a disastrous tour of their album, promote their album Making Contact. So they kind of reformed or refreshed, and it's a great, awesome album, Misdemeanor. And their worst, and again, I don't know what the heck's going on in this one either. This is the Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. And I can't make out anything of what they're doing in this cover. Like, I see hands on a bar up here, but I can't make out the rest of it. I don't know what this is. Pardon me. This is 1981 release. Still a great album. I love all their albums, yeah, it's you got the tracks. Couldn't get it right. Lonely Heart, their 9th studio album, but what's going on? I don't know. I just don't know. Don't know what's going on. So that's number 9. And finally, I had to show my favorite band. And I could have shown so many covers. And I'm going to go with a transition cover, because their first 3 albums, very progressive, very psychedelic, Mark I version of the band. So I'm going to go with In Rock, kind of the debut album, so to speak, of the Mark II version of the band. I could have shown Fireball. I could have shown so many great albums. I love Deep Purple. They're my favorite band. Their first 3 albums were psychedelic, progressive, They had Nick Simper on bass and Rod Evans on vocals. The band and Richie Blackmore wanted a bigger sound, more of an arena rock type of sound, a stadium sound. And they knew that Simper and Evans couldn't do it. So unbeknownst to them, Rod Evans was kind of out anyway. He wanted to go to California and meet a girlfriend, and Nick Simper wasn't aware at all that he was being replaced by Roger Glover, great bass player, and vocalist Ian Gillan, one of the best vocalists of hard rock at that time, and came out with this debut album, their fourth studio album, hard and heavy and amazing stuff. This is a remastered version of it, but I love it. I love it. And I wish I had bananas, because that definitely would have been their worst album cover, showing this truck full of bananas with these workers on it. I just don't have that one, and it's very expensive to find. So I chose this one here, even though I love this album. It's not the nicest cover. Who do we think we are? And this is also signatures on here, band signatures. This is a VCLT from an amazing person from the VC, but not the best album cover. This is 1973's released, their 7th studio album, and also the last of the Mark II version. But you got the big hit Woman from Tokyo on here, but that's it. So there you have it, guys. There's 10 best album covers, worst album covers. Please go over to Larry's channel. It's Canadian Stud Muffin. I'll be putting the link below. Like, subscribe, leave wonderful, wonderful comments, and enter into this great, fun contest. Have yourself a wonderful day, guys. Love you all. Take care. Bye now.